How's it going, River of Life? I'm excited to be able to share this Take 5 with you today. My name is Culin. I am the Technical and Assistant Worship Director at River of Life. And so today we're going to be in 1 Samuel 17, and we're going to talk about a story that you've probably heard, but hopefully from a different perspective. And we can go ahead and start reading that together. All right. Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why do you come out and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and are you not the servants of Saul? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." Then the Philistines said, "This day I defy the armies of Israel. Give me a man and let us fight each other." On hearing the Philistines' words, Saul and all Israelites were dismayed and terrified. Now David was the son of an Ephrathite named Jesse, who was from Bethlehem in Judah. Jesse had 8 sons, and Saul's time he was very old. Jesse's 3 oldest sons had followed Saul to the war. The firstborn was Eliab, the second Abinadab, and the third Shammah. David was the youngest. The 3 oldest followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul's to tend to his father's sheep in Bethlehem. For 40 days, the Philistine came forward every morning and evening and took his stand. Now Jesse said to his son David, "Take this ephah of roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers and hurry to their camp. Take along these cheeses to the commander of their unit. See how your brothers are and bring back some assurance from them. They are with Saul and all of them of Israel in the valley of Elah, fighting against the Philistines." Early in the morning, David left the flock in care of a shepherd, loaded up, and set out, as Jesse had directed. He reached the camp as the army was going out to its battle positions, shouting the war cry. Israel and the Philistines were drawing up their lines facing each other. David left his things with the keeper of supplies, ran to the battle lines, and asked his brothers how they were. As he was talking with them, Goliath, the Philistine champion from Gath, stepped out from his lines and shouted his usual defiance. And David heard it. Whenever the Israelites saw the man, they all fled from him in great fear. David asked the men standing near him, "What will be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" They repeated to him what they had been saying and told him, "This is what will be done for the man who kills him." When Eliab, David's oldest brother, heard him speaking with the men, he burned with anger at him and asked, "Why have you come down here? And with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know how conceited you are and how wicked your heart is. You came down only to watch the battle." "Now what have I done?" said David. "Can't I even speak?" He then turned away to someone else and brought up the same matter, and the men answered him as before. What David said was overheard and reported to Saul, and Saul sent for him. David said to Saul, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul replied, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." Now, the thing I want to focus on is the beginning of the story, and that's why we only read the beginning. As a lot of you know and have heard this story before, what happens is David is able to kill Goliath with a stone in a sling, and then takes Goliath's sword and kills him with his own sword. And so with this story, I want to focus on why was David picked? What about David was good, and why was he given the faith and the power to be able to defeat Goliath? And why was he chosen to do so? And I want to look at the beginning of what he was actually tasked with. Many might think, oh, of course he would go, and of course if he was told, hey, like, there's this giant that needs killing, you've killed a bear and you've killed a lion, protecting your sheep before, so you should be able to handle this guy. But that's not exactly what happened. He was told to go serve his brothers. And oftentimes we aren't faithful in the little, and we don't care about the little things. We want to be this grandeur display of God's power as Christians. And so with focusing on this story and being able to see these things of of David's attitude toward being able to serve his brothers. There was no question that we see here in Scripture, and there was nothing that he went against. And it's not a small hike to bring from Bethlehem to the valley of Elah. It's about 14 miles, give or take, and that is not a small journey that would take hours to be able to do. And he was also carrying a lot of supplies with him as well. And so to be able to do that in no questioning attitude or anything about that, and being able to do that, also you're getting food for your brothers. And I don't know if you have siblings, but if someone tells you, or your parent tells you, hey, go do this for your brother, that's not really like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And so with that attitude, he was faithful in the little. He had been serving his sheep faithfully. He protected them with his life. He was able to kill a bear and a lion, being able to protect those sheep. And so he's been faithful in the little, and he's now being able to be blessed with this massive, very, very seen by like the entire army of the Israelites and by Saul. And now God is blessing him with these. And so I just want to encourage you as you go through your day, today, tomorrow, the rest of this week, just be able to carry this attitude of, maybe this is a chance of where I can make a difference, not just in my own life or how I'm seen, but in somebody else's life. Because if they see me being faithful with little, that could leave a lasting impact and be able to just plant a seed. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I really hope you guys are blessed with God's presence today.